Today I am here with a quick video of day number 6 and 7 in my December daily for 2020, and I am starting here with the left hand side of the page. This is some journaling that I printed on my computer. I had a decent amount to say and I knew it wasn't going to fit if I tried to use my typewriter, so I ended up just printing it out on my printer and using my computer. And it is a typewriter font. I think it's called Vintage Typewriter that you can get at dafont.com. And I'm going to make this into a little tag. I had this little a piece of ephemera from the Snow and Cocoa line, and I'm just going to snip off each of the corners here and make this into a little tag. And I like how this looks. I didn't have any place to really put the journaling, so I'm going to end up tucking that journaling on the back of that little deer paper. I really liked the colors that were in the deer paper, and I thought they went well with that other 3x4 photo that I had there on the top right. So this is the strips from an Ellie Edwards December Daily kit, and I wanted to use this Mary Mary, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount that towards the bottom, but I am going to trim it a little bit shorter. It was a little bit too wide, so I'm going to trim that off just a little bit, and then I will round the corners. I just thought the straight corners weren't nice looking, and I thought it would look a little bit more finished having it have these more rounded corners, so I thought that was fun just using my corner chomper there. And then I will glue that down, and I thought this looked a little bit, I don't know, flat, and so I'm going to go through and put that through my sewing machine and add some gold stitching around the entire tag. Now I have gold in my machine, but I have white thread in the bobbin, so the one side is going to be gold and then the other side is going to actually be a white, but I'm okay with that. It's not a problem. So you can see here I sewed that with the gold thread, and then I want to add a little bit more here on this side. It looked a little lonely there on the top, so I'm going through some of these word phrases, but instead of using the words I am actually going to use a little piece of chipboard that I got in, oh, I can't remember what the name of the company is on that. It's this little chipboard set. I cannot remember the name of the company, but I thought the Winter Wonderland colors and things looked really nicely with the colors I have in this layout. So I'm just going to poke that little hole through there, and I am going to add a little bit of twine to that tag. I can't leave my tags naked, so I always add a little bit of twine, even though it's not really serving any purpose other than decoration. But I just think that looks better. So I am going to use my adhesive and then glue that down. I think these actually have adhesive back on them, but I could not get it off, so I just decided just to, if it wasn't going to come up with my fingers, it probably wasn't going to come off in the album. So I ended up just adding my adhesive to it and then smushing that down real well. And then I wanted to add something to the top. I was going to add a little circle hole reinforcer to the top, but I just didn't think it was going to fit nicely. So I found this pink ribbon that I had in my stash, and I decided to trim that out and use that as a little topper. And I really like the texture. It's a little bit darker pink and it doesn't really quite match the layout, but I think that's fine. I really like the color and the texture of it that I thought it was going to work out just okay anyway. So it just kind of kept moving around on me, so I added a little adhesive here just to make sure it stayed in place when I added the staples. And I'm just going to add 2 staples here just to make sure everything stays, because you will be using that to pull it in and out of the pocket. So I really like how that turned out. So that is that little journaling piece, and I do want to add a bit more to the card. So you can see here I'm just auditioning a couple different things. I didn't really like the die cuts I had, so I'm going to pull this Joy stamp out. Use some green ink, which is, I believe, Wild Wasabi, and then stamp this Joy stamp onto a white piece of cardstock, and then I will trim it out and then add it there to the deer card. Now that doesn't quite exactly match the deers in there. I think they're a little bit more of a brownish green, but I think it works. It matches the little trees and stuff that are in the right hand picture. I thought this looked a little bit flat, so I do go in and add a bit of lace to the card. And I like how that looks. It just kind of separates the Joy from the deer on the layout. That card is kind of busy, and I wanted to separate it, but I didn't want to cover the deer up. I wanted you to still be able to see them, and I thought this was a good way to do that. Next, I'm going to add the number to the picture at the bottom. I'm going to keep it real simple. Just add this number 6, glue that down. I thought about adding something underneath it, but just nothing seemed to work very well. So I am just going to add it without anything, I don't think. I think that's how it ends up being. Oh no, I do add a little piece of that lace that I use on the 3x4 card. I do use a little bit of that in the background. So I'm just going to trim that out, so just a little bitty pieces there. I didn't want too much showing. And then I thought that looked nice too, just gave it a little bit of a base to lay on. So once I get done with this one, I am going to move to the right hand side of the page, which is day number 7. This is going to be a picture of me by the fire. And you can see here that I already did my journaling. I just traced around where the joy and the embellishments on the page were going to go or be. So I just traced it with pencil so that when I typed it in my typewriter, I would not type where those decorations were on the card. And then I just took my sewing machine with some red thread and stitched a zigzag, tiny kind of zigzag all the way around the outside. And then I'm going to add this number 7 with a brad. Again, keeping number or day 7 pretty simple. Didn't need to do too much. I think the card with the embellishments, and then since I had a decent amount of journaling, I didn't really need a lot more. I am going to add a bit to that bottom picture though. My shirt has a symbol on it, or like a design on it that's very bright yellow, and it was just distracting me. I did not really like it. I thought I would try some circles in that top left, but I just didn't like that either. But I wanted to cover up where my shirt had that kind of design on it. So I'm just going to take 3 little circles from my stash and cover that up, and then also just give it something extra in the bottom. I thought I needed something a little bit more than just the plain photo there. So you can see there, I'm liking how that looks. I'm going to take my fine liner bottle with my Scotch Quick Dry and then adhere all those little pieces together, and then I'll end up trimming off that bottom of the cluster. So that's pretty much it for day 7 and 6. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you hit that bell, it will also let you know when I have a video coming up to be posted. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about anything, leave those in the comments below. Love hearing from you guys. And if you have anything else you want to let me know about, you can leave those in the comments below as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you had a great Christmas and a happy New Year, and I will talk to you again very soon.